are going to be talking about maximizing social media impact. And what you're going to be learning today, we're going to be focusing on essentially what this boils down to is that I'll be covering how to create and engage with your ideal clients over social media. On the screen, there's a brief summary about the specifics of what I'll be discussing. I also did want to point out again that AT&T, Verizon, a couple other carriers, they've been having some shortages. So because of that, you may disconnect. If so, we will find a way to get this to you. All right, so let's jump in and kind of who am I, right? Why should you really listen to what I have to say? My name is Matt Post. I am the co-founder of SEM Dynamics. We are an online marketing firm, and we specialize in helping owners of small to medium-sized businesses get more clients through the internet. I have over 27 years of experience creating websites. I have over 26 years of experience in marketing websites. For the last 6 years, I've dedicated myself into helping owners of small to medium-sized businesses. And I also carry 4 certifications in what's called conversion rate optimization. And that fancy word that pretty much means I'm trained in how to get people to say yes to your offer online, right? Now, side note, I am a fan of audience participation. I do enjoy it. It's a little difficult with Zoom, especially in a webinar setting. So I will be asking for you to take advantage of the chat periodically so that we can do some Q&A, hopefully, if we have time at the end, and also so we can get you over some information if you need more details about certain things. So with that, we want to start with the idea of aligning with your ideal client. And that's kind of foundational. That's the first thing that we need to start with. And so in working with social media, you must align with your ideal client in 2 different ways. First is platform alignment, and second is intent alignment. And you'll also notice throughout this that I will use the term ideal client quite often. And that's because I'm interested in who is most important for you to connect with. Who do you want to connect with? And not really who's most likely to buy from you or hire you. That's not always the same thing. So when I say ideal client, I am talking about who is most important for you to connect with and build a relationship with, if you will. So when we look at platform alignment, we're pretty much mean, what platform is best to connect with your ideal client. That's the platform alignment. If you're a business lawyer, Pinterest is probably not the right platform for you. Now, I can't go into too much depth and details for each platform given the time that we have today. I will say, though, to kind of keep a close eye on TikTok. A few other people have been saying the same thing, and it's true. They do have a loose algorithm, if you will, so you can get a lot more viewership on TikTok, and it is growing into an older demographic. So you're looking a lot more people coming in their 30s, early 40s that are using TikTok. That's a big growth pattern for them. Now, if you want a particular platform list, then go ahead and use that chat box and type in the word platform list into the chat, and we can send you over a breakdown as to what platforms are a good match for what type of client, maybe help you out. Next, after the platform alignment, we do want to talk about aligning yourself with your ideal client and their intent, right? You must align yourself with the intent of your ideal client, not just the platform. Your goal must, at some level, be to align your ideal client's goals with your goals. It's a critical concept to understand, and that is that the success is not merely a matter of serendipity or loud proclamation of one's offerings. Pretty much, it's not about who's getting lucky in marketing. It's not about who makes the biggest splash or the greatest noise. repeatable and scalable success, it comes from the execution of strategy. When we're looking at strategy, there's two questions that we must answer before we continue. And it's the heart of how we communicate and what to communicate to your ideal client. Those two questions are, what does your ideal client want most? And what does your ideal client fear most? The answer to these will help you break through the noise through what we call attention economy. And we know that content is the magnet that kind of draws users' focus amidst all this distraction in their life and distraction on the various social media platforms. And actually, in fact, your business post is even fighting against the social media platforms, their own algorithm. They don't want your business post to get a lot of attention. Why? It's because they want you to pay. They want you to pay for that attention. But the truth is, we're looking at a disruptive atmosphere. Social media marketing is disruptive, but it doesn't have to be, right? People go into social media to view pictures of puppies and cute kittens, catch up on family and friends. That's the intent, really, when they're going to social media. And by digging into those two questions, the answer to those will help you engage and create content that will get them to stop. It will be what they're going to want to discuss, comment, like, share. That's what the goal is. And so that's why technically social media is disruptive, but it doesn't have to. You can fight against this. You can even use the algorithms to your benefit, so that you don't have to pay for that additional attention. We're gonna go into that. So first thing is to understand that if content serves as the front line of interaction with your audience, the first few seconds a viewer spends on your posts, they can make or break the interest in your company and your brand. By using compelling content, whether it's say a captivating image, some type of intriguing headline, compelling video, that can be a strong first impression that encourages further engagement. And let's look at it. Here's a list kind of the common ways that you're able to connect with your ideal client. You make an impact. You become a little more relatable with your ideal client, offering value to them. You fostering relationships. We're leveraging the social media platforms to your benefit, and of course, standing out in that crowd. Now, who remembers those two questions? If you do, put them in chat. Those are the two questions that you must answer. You always have to get the answer before we start on this type of strategy. And yep, so those are, what does your ideal client want most? And what does your ideal client fear most? Now, Andrew with Alcove Insurance, he sent over a request, replied to the email that we sent out for the registrations, kind of raised his hand virtually. So we're going to look at a sample, and we're going to use, he kind of volunteered, right? So we're going to use him to show how these principles may apply to him. So let's consider this. The business name, Alcove Insurance. He provides personal and business insurance. And this is an example of where, when we're asking these questions, we need to really identify more closely that ideal client. The answers are going to be different for personal insurance versus business insurance, right? Business owner, personal person driving around, be two different answers. For this sample, we're going to hone in on the business insurance, and we're creating a persona, if you will. The ideal client, we're saying his name's Michael. He's a family-oriented person, has an entrepreneurial spirit. He's risk-aware. He's community-minded, and he's a continuous learner. That does describe a lot of small business owners. So that is going to be our persona. And what we want to do is then we want to ask those questions, right? So what do they want? And Michael wants to ensure the long-term stability and growth of his business to secure a prosperous future for his family and employees. But I challenge everyone to always dig deeper into the thoughts and the emotions behind the client. Right? This is good for service level. We want to go deeper. Do that by asking why. Why does Michael have this desire? We analyze this and we kind of brainstorm it, and we come up with the answer that Michael has a deep-seated feeling of responsibility to provide for his family and create a lasting legacy. So that's pretty good, fairly deep on that emotion. And now that we kind of have those answers, we're going to put those to the side. And we're going to look at the second question. We're going to look at that fear-based question. Right? What does Michael fear? And he fears potential failure in his business. That's a pretty easy answer, being an entrepreneur and a small business owner. Again, we dig deeper. Why? Why is this his fear? What's the background emotion that we need to encapsulate with our posts, with our concepts? And he has a sense of responsibility. He identifies as a provider. He knows that the lives of those that he cares about are intertwined with the success of his business. That's a lot more important. That with these whys answered, we now have the tools to be able to create the concepts of a social media strategy. And we did just that. We went through that. And we came up with 5 ideas. Andrew, you can use these, or this kind of shows you the creative process. So those 5 ideas, they come from the emotional motivation that we use for brainstorming. And the idea is that you want to cover either what they want, that desire, or overcome the fear, or both if you can. You don't want a single post idea. You're looking for a concept that can be repeated as a series. So for this example, one of the ideas we came up with, success story spotlights. You can interview other business owners who have overcome their fears or who have overcome adversity to become successful in their business. And there's a multi-pronged approach that's beneficial here. One is that your ideal client is a business owner. This gives you an in to interview and speak with other small business owners who could be your ideal client. You can then highlight them on your social media, giving them additional attention. Also, that business owner should or want to share your post with their social media as well, because it highlights them in a positive light. And you're going to have this little bit additional virality, a little more attention on your posts, because we identify that your ideal client is most likely a family-first, family-oriented person. We want a family-first Fridays. Again, we're not talking about insurance. It could be where to take your family that weekend. It can be tips on how to better engage and communicate with your children. It does not sell to them the concept of insurance. It gets them engaged in your posts for later, right? Later on, you can say, by the way, we do insurance as well, but we're gonna save that for later. Community heroes, again, similar to the success stories, highlighting people who have gone above and beyond within the community. Wisdom Wednesdays could be tips, tricks for business owners, small business owners, how to better their business, be more, be better at marketing. It could be how to engage better, how to overcome some of the troubles that a small business owner faces. And motivational Mondays, that's fairly common, where, motivational quote of the day happening on Mondays. So we have these buckets of concepts that can be used where it's not a single post. There's longevity to them. Now we're going to get into the storytelling, right? We have the concepts. We're going to quickly touch on the different types of storytelling. Really, it's going to be photos, videos, and user content. We're talking about photos and videos. You want high quality. You want to have them be personal if you can. With user content, that's going to be typically kind of sprinkling reviews throughout the month. And I like the 80-20 rule, where 80% of your content should be from the concept of thinking about them and their value and really leaning into the answer to the 2 key questions. And then 80% of your content is going to be about your business. It's going to be about a promotion, a special, a feedback, a client success story. That way you can continue to say, hey, yeah, I'm providing you this value, but by the way, let's not forget, I am a business. And so when the need arises, I'm here for you. You don't want to overdo that. Oh, I talked a little before about beating the algorithm and how to use the algorithm to your benefit. And so I want to touch on that just a little bit here. And there are the to-dos, what you want to do to get the most engagements out of your social media. And to elevate your post and to get the largest viewership, we need to look at engagements. So we want to get people to comment, open-ended questions. How do you get people to comment on your social media posts? Replies as well. When anybody comments, you need to be replying. Why? Because you're going to be starting conversations. By answering the 2 questions and honing in on their desires and their fears, that should be naturally shareable for your ideal client. Also, you're going to be getting a lot more likes that way. All of these play into getting greater visibility because the platforms see that your posts are engaging. Adding faces in photos and videos statistically get a greater number of likes. They get the greater number of shares, and they get the greater number of comments. Hot topic items, hot button items. So be relevant about the current events. Again, that's a great way to get those comments, replies, conversations, likes, things of that sort. And then, tagging, hashtags, tagging other businesses, other people. Using the tagging mechanism helps you get more views, more eyes on your posts. Now, if there are things that you want to do, there's also things that you want to avoid. So if we are looking at what to avoid, we want it to be too many tags, too many hashtags, tagging too many people, getting kind of spammy. You don't want like a page of hashtags. That's just overkill. It's too much. Poor quality. I don't think anybody that is in here today has the idea of creating poor quality. That's why you're here, but has to be on the list. Same thing with bad grammar. Grammatical mistakes happen. They occur. But, let's try to limit that. Links. You don't want links in your posts. You don't want to link out to your articles, to your website, to any of your pages, anything outside of the platform. You don't want to link to in your post. And they look like Instagram. The links aren't even clickable. So you have to have you want to say, see the link in my profile, right? Your profile can have a link in Instagram. So don't put the link in the post itself. Now, I do put an asterisk here because there's a way around this where it does not negatively affect your viewership. And that is on Facebook. On Facebook, you can put the link as a comment to your own post and not have a negative impact. And when you do this, you want to say, hey, here's the value I'm bringing. To read the full article, see the link in the first post or in the first comment. That way you're able to add the link, but you're kind of circumventing the system that's in place that kind of holds you back. Again, you don't want to be too personal. You can be personal, just not too personal. We don't need to know what you had for breakfast or information and details about like your latest breakup, like that. Keep that off of social. But personalization to a degree is good. Again, aggressive selling, stay away from it. Bashing your competitors, it's just going to make you look bad. Stay away from it. And don't be skip-worthy. That's boring, drab, dull. Instead of click-worthy, it's the opposite. It's skip-worthy. So those are things that you want to avoid. Now, there are some tools that can help you out, and I want to touch on a few of those real quick. And Canva is one. It helps you create social media posts, images, videos. It does also allow you to directly post those to social media. Venngage is an alternative to Canva. Again, you can do the same thing, create the images. Canva, by the way, does have a free option, which is great. Hootsuite and Buffer, those are 2 tools that allow you to schedule a lot of social media posts. And little shameless plug, Lead Dynamics, we own that company. We own Lead Dynamics. It's kind of like the Swiss Army tool of marketing, and it does have the ability to schedule out, create, and push out social media posts to various platforms. If you want this list or links to these platforms, go ahead and drop into the chat, type in resources, and we'll email you out the list and links to each one of these so you can check them out on your own. So now that we've kind of looked at everything, the how-to, the process, we need to look at refining what you're putting out there. And with that, we need to be looking at the analytics and the insights. So each platform is going to have their own type of analytics. And again, we don't have really the time to delve really deep into the insights and analytics of each platform. But I do want to say that the analytics, they do help us make smart decisions by honing in on what your ideal client wants. Now, the analytics and the insights, they can be daunting. They can seem overwhelming, but each social media platform, or most of them at least, they have built-in analytic tools that are straightforward for you to use. There is one thing that you must always have to be able to use these types of analytical and insight tools, and that is you must have a business profile. It is a requirement for almost every platform to get access to the analytics, to be a business and have a business profile. So you just want to make sure it's complete. If you're going to have a profile, fill it out, fill everything out, all the pictures, everything. Make your profile as complete as possible. And when you look at your analytics, there's going to be some key metrics that you want to pay attention to. Really, this boils down to watch time on videos, views, likes, shares. You can also see some audience demographics, whether male, female, age groups, things of that sort. So you can kind of hone in and refine that persona. And you want to pay attention to the number of views you're receiving and compare it to the number of likes, shares, and comments that you're getting. That is going to give you a ratio. And that ratio, the higher the percentage, the more successful those types of posts are. And you'll know what to do more of and what to do less of, if you will. It brings us kind of to a vital question that we have in the analytics. And the analytics and the data helps us answer, what commonalities exist in my posts that get the greatest number of responses that I want. And again, the answer to this, it helps you refine. You want to have a handful of concepts, try a couple of these concepts out. You want to try them out at the same time. And you'll notice that there's themes that start to emerge in some post types. Some concepts do better than others. And change out the ones that don't work, right? Keep the ones that do work. It's really that simple. And you want to start with a handful of these different concepts, and you want to calendar them, right? So it's time to take action, really. It's time to look at the answer of those two questions, dig deeper, create buckets of concepts and ideas, then choose, say, a top 3 and calendar them in, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, whatever works best for you. The idea is to be consistent. You must be consistent. You want to give this 2 months to see which of the 3 that you chose is working best for you. And again, get rid of the one that isn't working out, or keep only the one that's working best and replace the other 2 if you have a lot of ideas. And you want to really give it time, 2 months, maybe even 3 months. Now, if you want a content calendar template that you can use, again, let's use chat. Type in calendar, put calendar into the chat. We can send you over a template for a content calendar that you can use.